Hello, hello. Ako ho si Ana de Villa Singson, akong Media and National Communications Director ng PPCRV. Sa podcast nito, which is called Tibok Pinoy, we will be talking about our Values Formation Program. Tinanong ho namin sa mga mamamayan nationwide, ano ba para sa inyo ang mga characteristics na dapat taglay ng isang model na Pilipino? At may 6 ho na lumitaw. Ano ba ang mga values na ito? Para maging isang modelong Pilipino, ikaw ay dapat maging makadiyos. Ikaw ay dapat makabayan, matapat, magalang, matulungin, masipag, at makabayan. Sa podcast na ito ho, pag-uusapan natin at bibigay natin ng pansin ang pagiging makabayan. At napaka-excited ako dahil ang ating guest ngayon ay hindi lamang maganda, mabait, sobrang makabayan at napakagaling pa. So I can't wait to introduce her to you. We'll see you soon.
Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian na maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Yeah, malinaw ang pananaw sa makabagong bukas, makatwiran at patas pakisama, at higit sa lahat makadiyos siya dapat. Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian ng maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas. Iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas.
Hello, we're back. And pag-uusapin natin ngayon ang pagiging makabayan. Sobrang excited ako kasi ang ating guest ay hindi lang makabayan, napakaganda na, napakagaling, mabait pa. I'm speaking about no other than Miss Margie Moran Floirendo, and we are so privileged to have it here. Alam nyo, si Margie ho, kilalang kilala bilang ang second, pangalawang Miss Universe natin. She won the Miss Universe pageant in 1974.
73.
I'm so sorry. She won the Miss Universe pageant in 1973. Pero, hindi lang yon ang kanyang pagiging makabayan. Although talagang tinaas niya ang ating bandila at that time, ang dami pa niyang ginagawa sa Mindanao at hindi lang yan, siya ay isang patron of the arts. Former chairman, naging president, ngayon vice chairman of the CCP, the Cultural Center of the Philippines, former president of Ballet Philippines, and she's either a director or a chairman or vice chair of so many other foundations which have the underlying objective of bringing up the Filipino. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly introduce to you Margie Moran Floirendo. Hello, Margie!
Hi, Anna. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Nako, thank you for coming. I know, si Margie, sobrang busy yan. And I was so happy when she said she would come because she understands how important this is because we're trying to shape young minds, no?
That's right.
Margie, of course, this is always the first question everybody asks you. How did you feel nung nanalo ka in 1973 as Miss Universe?
Well, it's a question that really everybody asks, but how I felt, I was ecstatic to represent my country in the Miss Universe at a time when nobody knew where the Philippines was.
Nobody knew the Philippines in 1973.
Yes.
Okay, so what would they tell you when you say Philippines?
Where is the Philippines? That's
They
the
ask,
first
where is
question
the
because they
Philippines?
think that the Philippines is near Hawaii.
Near Hawaii. Oh my goodness.
In the Polynesian Islands.
Okay.
So there was until 1974, when it was held in the Philippines, then we were proud to show our country through the pageant.
Yes.
And I was able to go around the Philippines, filming locations and beautiful spots, and showing it with the audience that at that time I think was over millions of audiences all around the world.
Over a million around the world. That's big, for 1974. That's a huge
Yes.
number. And you really put us, I guess that's what you say, really putting us in the map. Because as you said, noon, walang may alam na ang Pilipinas pala ay nasa Asia. Akala nila Hawaii at Polynesia, di ba?
That's right.
And then when it was brought to the Philippines, even better. So, what made you think, of course, there's obvious beauty, no? But aside from that, what Filipino traits kaya do you think helped you to win the pageant in 1974?
Well, this lady told me when I was walking down the lobby of the Grand Britannia Hotel in Athens. It was held in Athens.
It was held in Athens, yes.
And she said, one thing that you stand out that separates you from the other people. She's a British lady. She said that you've got class.
Class. Okay.
Which I think,
Class.
which is the Filipino trait of being not so loud, but exuding peace
We're
grace.
graceful and peaceful.
and kindness.
And kindness. Yan, totoo yan, no? Because like,
Yeah.
if you go to any Filipino household, the first thing they will do is give you the best. The best that
Yes.
they have to offer.
Very hospitable.
Diba? Yeah, so it's
And
not...
we were able to show that in the 1974 pageant, how hospitable we are as a nation.
This was the one held in
the Folk Arts Theater.
Folk Arts Theater, which was built specifically for that, di ba?
That's right,
The
yes.
Folk Arts Theater. So, memories talaga. So, alam nyo, si Margie, kasi we worked together. She was the president when I was in the board of Ballet Philippines, no?
That's
And
right.
si Margie, talagang whenever she comes in, everybody's like saying, si Miss Universe. But for me, she is so much more than that, no? Hindi lang niya pinagtaguyod ang... she didn't put us in the map, which she literally did by winning the Miss Universe. Suddenly, kilala na ang Philippines after that, no? But she is also actually a very strong advocate of things that are Filipino, especially Mindanao. Why Mindanao, Margie? You won so many awards for projects and films in Mindanao. Why Mindanao?
Well, when I was living in Davao,
Yes.
my grandmother is from Zamboanga.
Okay.
So there is an affinity for me, and I got involved in advocacy work in the peace process.
In the peace process, what were you doing
Not
for the peace
necessarily in the
process? Yeah.
government peace process, but we had a women's organization, Mindanao Commission on Women and Mothers for Peace campaign. To campaign for peace in Mindanao.
Okay.
And one of the things I did actually one documentary in partnership with the Bishop Olama
Okay.
conference. This was Healing the Past
Okay.
and bridging and building the future, showing how communities can produce peace among themselves, Christians and Muslims. And then I did a movie, which is an award-winning movie.
Ito ba yung nanalo, yung movie na to? Which
Yes,
movie is
Bagong
this?
Buwan.
What's the title?
Bagong Buwan,
Bagong
or
Buwan.
New Moon, which was directed by Marilu Diaz-Abaya.
What was it about?
It was about the conflict in Mindanao, how a family suffered through a conflict in Mindanao. And it was the writer, what's his name? They're both national artists now.
Okay. The writer was a national artist.
He's a national artist now, and Marilu Diaz-Abaya is also a national artist as director. And one of that is his film.
And you won for that.
Ricky Lee,
You
sorry.
won for that one, Ricky Lee. Yes. So
Yes.
you won for that film, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
you know, it's
Best
so-
Picture in the FAMAS Award.
It's so very relevant because until now, families are actually still being affected by so much war in the South, di ba? So much conflict in the
literally
South.
more peaceful now because there is there's self-determination, which they have always wanted. They have self-governance. So it is not as bad as it was before. It's actually good. You can go around Mindanao safely.
Really? That's not my
Yes.
impression.
Yes,
Really?
you can.
You can? Oh, so maybe I should we should visit Mindanao more often. We should be more Makabayan and see more of our country, actually.
That's right.
So you won for this award. But what people don't know yet also is that Margie is actually a patron of the arts. Were you a dancer before? You were a dancer,
I was a
di ba?
dancer, yes.
Kaya siya naging head of Ballet Philippines. Tignan niyo naman yung posture. Ako dancer, pero look at my posture. Look at Margie's. Still so straight. Pang Miss Universe talaga yung posture. Di ba? So, why Philippine arts, Margie? What is it about the Philippine artists that you think is worth talagang advocating for?
Well, one is we're very rich in our culture. We have indigenous tribes, so which also we can we learn from their heritage. We're very rich in history and heritage, and so we excel in the arts. We excel in music, especially.
Yes, parang everybody thinks every Filipino can sing. It's so hard nga when I travel. Everybody says when they find out Filipino, they say, "Oh, give her the microphone." Ay nako, not necessarily this
Yeah.
Filipino, but yes, you're right. We excel in music. What else do we excel in? You think?
We excel in dance. We excel in literature. We excel in composition.
When you say excel, you're talking about the global stage.
Yes.
Yes.
We cater to both international and the local market. You see, you when you become so proud of seeing Cecilica play, let's say,
Yes, the piano.
abroad, the
Yeah.
piano. And we have scholars as well that we've sent abroad we sent abroad recently to become to excel in music mostly.
This is through CCP.
Through CCP.
Yan pa ang isang credential na hindi ko yata napag-usapan mabuti. Margie used to be the chairman and the president. And now kasi naubos na yung term niya, para she's still there, they need her there, you're vice chairman of the Cultural Center of the Philippines.
Yes.
Diba? So, talk to me about what makes the Filipino artists stand out. What about the Filipino artists? Because you're saying world class. Why world class?
Because we are good, our people perform abroad. We have like the dance ballet Philippines has performed like in 9 countries in the last 10 years. And then
And when we perform, anong sinasabi ng global stage when they see the Filipino
like
perform?
ang galing ng dance, our dance, because we have our own unique movements as Filipino dancers.
Okay.
Not classical. Filipino artists can do both classical and contemporary.
Okay.
Even in music and even in songs. We are good storytellers.
Okay, that's true.
So
that's very
we
true.
can do fusion between what's modern, what's traditional, and what is contemporary. Like for example, balagtasan.
Okay, balagtasan. Okay.
Now there is baraptasan.
What is baraptasan? Ah, rap! Okay,
Rap. So
okay.
they mix
Balagtasan
rap and
became
balagta.
baraptasan. So people are rapping non-ending. They pick it up.
Or we have balagtasan and being answered by a rap.
Oh, that's really good.
Sagutan.
Okay, all right. So, that's fusion of classical and local.
And that goes
and
the same
modern.
with our dances. We have, for example, national artist Agnes Locsin.
Okay.
She's done her own
Agnes Locsin,
style
yes.
of contemporary ethnic Filipino dances.
She's a national artist for dance, di ba?
Yes.
Okay, Angel is talagang wow.
And then
Wow.
now we're doing, let's say, the opera, and making it more national and converting some operas into Tagalog.
Like which operas are being turned into Tagalog?
Like we had one recently, Figaro.
Figaro
Not the
is
whole-
now in Tagalog?
Not the whole opera, but segments of it.
Okay.
So that we can appreciate, the audience can appreciate.
And does the audience appreciate
Oh,
that?
they do, yes.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So Filipino arts, I'm glad because, parang now, even in schools, I noticed na yung focus nagiging what they call the arts, it becomes arithmetic, di ba? It's all sciences and math, which is very good. But I feel nawawala na minsan yung humanities, like the focus on arts, the focus on literature. Even nga, this program, Values Formation, is gone. Like before, we used to have ethics, we used to have social studies. It's all gone. So parang wala na. So this is an effort to bring those values back. So sana bigyan uli ng emphasis ang culture.
That's true. That's what's sad. Because in the past, when I was with Ballet Philippines, schools would bring students to watch our shows.
Yes.
Now they don't do that. They don't do that anymore. So
Why
they would
kaya?
come.
Why
Well,
kaya?
because there were accidents, and the school didn't want to take responsibility, and it's an extra expense.
Yes.
But the tickets are not expensive. But we now students would come on their own with their parents.
Oh, that's
But
good.
we have to organize that. It's not like it's quite hard to do that.
But it's nice though. Before, I remember some of the dancers, as a Ballet Philippines, red ho yung seats ng cultural center. Some dancers would say before, naka-red lahat ng audience nila because all they see were seats. But now I was talking to some dancers and they were saying puno na. It's
Yeah.
getting full. So I guess people are beginning to realize that Philippine art, Philippine dance, is a genre that they can actually relate to. Diba?
Exactly. And not only that, to be Makabayan, you have to support our artists.
Exactly.
Because especially
They don't get much support, no? It's all privately funded mostly.
privately. Well, government, CCP is a government
CCP
institution.
helps, yes.
But the individual companies are privately funded.
Mm-hmm,
So we need support. We need an audience because the audience is the one that supports the actors.
Yes.
In terms of performance, in terms of financial, and the artists, they don't. It's not about the money. It's about the art itself.
So expressing
and the
themselves.
expression of art.
Yeah.
Is what is more important to them.
So for the artists, because you get to know them very, very well, no? Like how much time do they put into their art? Because like for them, many of them, especially those who get to go on an international stage, they have to put in the time. Like for a ballet dancer, how long do you practice in one day?
10 hours.
10 hours per day on top of your schooling.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, professional dancers, so they're not schooling anymore.
Yeah.
They're not in school anymore. So the professional dancers, 10 hours, I would say 6 days a week.
10 hours, 6 days a week. So it's really a vocation and it's really a passion.
It's a passion. It's a
Diba?
job.
And they do this to be able to show Filipino culture at its best, right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
I think art, correct me if I'm wrong, is parang art is one of the most ultimate expressions also of being nationalistic and being Makabayan.
It is.
Diba?
Because it's also part of our culture. It's a way of life.
You know,
And
that makes me really sad that parang it's our culture, but parang it's becoming so, I don't know, parang natatabunan eh, di ba?
Yeah,
In
but
terms of
Anna,
interest.
because there are studies that were made, you know that when children are exposed to the arts as a young person, they become more intelligent in school. They are more makabayan. They are more active in their communities.
Yes.
If they're exposed to the arts, even if they're not artists.
Yes.
But they're exposed to the arts at a young age.
Yeah. Actually, arts, aside from being an expression of Philippine nationalism, has very healing properties, di ba? There was a study done here in the Philippines. I forget which particular group did it. After one of the big earthquakes or one of the big typhoons, there were children who were displaced. And they were given paper and crayons and draw anything that expresses yourself at the moment. They were drawing very violent red strokes, black slashes, violent. You could feel the trauma in the children. So these children were taught art. They were exposed to, I don't know which particular art, kung music or dance, I think music. After 6 months, they were asked to do the same exercises, and the pictures were so different. The pictures had color, hindi na red and black. The pictures were colorful, the pictures were vivid. So the inference there and the logical hypothesis that art actually helps in the healing process.
Yes,
Aside
it does.
from being nationalistic, it actually has therapeutic, do you see that?
I see that.
Do you
In fact,
experience that?
the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra played at PGH at one time during, I think after typhoon. I don't remember what disaster it was anymore.
Yes.
But they did, and because it has healing powers.
Yeah, that's true.
Music is really good for the soul.
Okay. Sorry I have to go back to your being Miss Universe because talagang Miss Margie Moran Floirendo, Miss Universe is here, so let's talk a little bit about Miss Universe. Okay, so when you stood there and when people ask you about the Philippines, how did you feel about representing the country? What did you think you had to show to put the Philippines in the map when you were in the Miss Universe competition?
Well, when you talk about your country, what your country has, it's just plain and simple kwentuhan.
Yes, kwentuhan.
And that they should invite them to come and visit our country when they can. And it's not in Hawaii.
It's not in Hawaii. It's not in Polynesia. It's not in Hawaii. We're in Asia. Okay.
Yes, and that we have beautiful spots to go to, our beaches, our mountains. And I remember going to Mayon Volcano on a plane, filming it from the crater.
From the crater? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, the
and
things you do.
Well, I was watching because I was going to be the host.
Yes.
So things like that. And it's a peaceful country.
So it's about talking about your country with
Yes.
pride. Yeah.
Yes, because
Diba?
that's part of your national identity. You must be able to dedicate yourself to nationhood.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
That's important.
and that
no?
comes with the traditions, the values that you have, that you can influence people to come and visit your country, and to also influence others to love the Philippines.
That's I think the most important thing, loving the Philippines. Sometimes I made you kwento about this, like I was watching a movie, minsan na ako nagmo-movie, so nasa theater ko, last full show, walang tumatayo for the national anthem. I was so incensed. The only ones who stood up were me and my boys, were 4 of us, and 2 other people in a rather full theater. I was so incensed. I went in front of they said, it's a national anthem, stand up. Half of them stood up, the other half did not. But for me, that's the national anthem. It's basic.
right.
It's automatic for us because we learned it in school. But apparently it's, I don't know, the children now, some of them don't
But were
know.
they children or were they adults?
Half of them were children, half of them were adults. But for me, kasi it's like, why? It was an Avengers movie, so it was really mixed audience. But I was like, my goodness, the national anthem. people don't love it anymore. They don't see the value anymore. So when you talk about loving the Philippines, if you're talking to we're talking to high schoolers, what will you tell them? What advice can you give them? I mean, you've shown love for the Philippines. How can they show love for the Philippines?
Little things like keeping your place clean, your community clean.
Exactly.
Being
Yeah.
active in your community and teach others to keep it clean. Tell your parents not to dirty the place. If you can only plant trees on EDSA, I think it will be more beautiful. I think to be Makabayan, you have to love to love your country. It must be beautiful, and having beautiful and kind people, not physically but hospitable people.
See,
And just keeping it clean and lessen corruption.
lessen corruption.
Or
Tama here,
remove.
tama here. Oh, the characteristics that we're talking about, matapat, you have to be, actually to be Makabayan, you have to be everything, di ba? You
Yes,
have to be
be
makajos,
honest.
you have to be matapat, you have to be masipag, you have to be matulungin. To be nationalistic, you have to be the best the best Filipino that you can possibly be.
Exactly.
Di ba? So
And
first,
that comes with the first commandment. The most important commandment is being honest.
being honest.
Yes, and then love your parents.
Yeah, sana the children, so nakikinig sana kayo mga bata, no? It starts in the home, right? No, it starts with you. It starts with you. It starts with you. You must, to be able to love country, to be able to love others, you have to love yourself first. And if you love yourself, you can be matapat. You can be matulungin. You can be magalang. You can be masipag. And you can help those around you, di ba?
And teach those and influence those around you. You can even influence your parents who are
Actually,
not matapat.
That's, yeah, let's work on the kids. May hope pa yung kids. You know, that's actually so true because
Yeah.
in my house, one of the biggest influencers in my household would be my children. Like, because of my youngest son, his name is Gabriel, we stopped using paper napkins. Everything now is fabric. He said, "Mom, we're killing the trees." Okay, even the chopsticks were banned because we're killing all the bamboo. So, you know, all because of my son.
So you're being taught.
I'm being taught. And he taught us this thing called clay go. Clean as you go. So after eating, it's not enough to just leave it for others to clean. But he says, "Mom, put it all together so it's neat by the time the staff comes." So the influence of children. So, you know, children, you know, people think, yung mga bata, akala nila wala silang power. You have so much power. Start with your family. And then start in your community, di ba?
In fact, we had a program with WWF before.
Yes. What's WWF?
Worldwide Fund.
Ayan, Worldwide Foundation. Okay.
And in where my sphere of influence was in Davao,
Okay.
around Samal Island.
Okay.
And we taught children in the schools, the public schools around the waters of Samal in the beachfront, that not to throw garbage on the sea. And what they can find in the sea. We taught them that so that they could teach their parents.
So you taught the children.
Yes.
And then the children taught their parents.
Correct. And we had books also to
You know,
to
that's true
distribute.
because parents listen to children. No? They might not
Yes.
listen to others, but children, you always listen to, di ba? Ayan, children, turuan nyo yung mga parents nyo. At turuan nyo silang maging matapat, magalang, matulungin, masipag, makabayan, makajos. Turuan ninyo. And if you can teach it in your house, then you become an example for the whole community.
Yes.
Diba? And I like what you did. You're teaching the children not to throw waste in the sea so that they can influence their parents.
Yes. And even going to the CCP or to our shows, we're not in CCP now because it's under renovation, but in the other theaters, we start exactly on time. So showing that kind of strictness is showing respect for other people,
Yes.
respect for the artists, respect for people who come early.
Yes.
And that's part of the Makabayan for me.
Yeah. So for you, Makabayan it's not just saying, I'm a proud Filipino, but it's being a proud Filipino.
Yes.
Not just declaring, Makabayan ako kasi I love the Philippines, but loving the Philippines means being the best you can be so that you can be the best Filipino.
Correct.
example.
And if you say you're makajos, it's not just praying. It's doing what God wants you to do for your country, which is cleanliness, honesty, all the values that
All
we're
the
also
values.
learning. Because
Yeah, so it's
that
all
is
makasama, it's all
Yes.
kasama integrate. Okay, if I will ask you, in your very storied, maraming story ho ang buhay ni Margie, okay? In your very storied and very accomplished life, what was your proudest Makabayan moment?
I have many actually, because through the years,
Yes.
I have many experiences. But one of course is winning the Miss Universe.
Yes.
It was my first Makabayan victory. But also seeing my proteges win, like remember Carissa Ade winning
Yeah,
the international competition for ballet.
Yeah, she's a Filipino dancer who is now a principal dancer in Japan.
In Perth.
In Perth. Imagine, we are now importing our dancers to be lead dancers in Australia, in Perth. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and watching Cecil Licat perform, or seeing our sports winners in sports make it to winning a gold medal.
Heidelin, di ba?
Heidelin.
Heidelin, Rubilen Ahmed. Imagine
Yes.
all of those. Yeah, finally,
Yeah.
di ba? Manny Pacquiao, di ba?
Yeah, so that makes me proud as a Filipino.
That makes you proud as a
And
Filipino.
artists who have made it well abroad, who have studied abroad and made it well.
Who are those? Like Lea Salonga.
Like Lea Salonga.
Salonga has done so well.
Cecil Licat, Rowena Arrieta.
Yes.
And there's so many singers who've done it well.
That's true. We are so talented, no?
We
so
are.
It's just that we have to recognize it and we have to proclaim it. Like, today, alam ko, Makabayan. So I really wore local. Look at this. This is national weave from the South. Can you see this? This is national
Yes.
weave from the South. So I made it. And when I travel, I always try to wear something local. Just
Well, talking about that,
Yeah.
we collaborate with Bench, with the Ternocon. We teach designers how to make the proper terno.
why? What is the proper terno?
I mean, the
Margie?
sleeves.
The butterfly
The
sleeves.
butterfly, the pattern, and we teach designers the history of the terno. So that's one of our advocacy to buy local products.
To buy local products. Oo nga naman, we have so much local talent eh. So why go outside pa? Di ba?
Exactly. And it gives them also, makes them continue the craftsmanship that so they can survive with their craftsmanship.
But that's nice because the terno's making a comeback, di ba?
It is.
People are selling it. It's not anymore always in Husi Piña. It's now being sold in even chiffon and
maong.
And maong. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was making a kwento. I just recently came from Tokyo and I wore parang ganito yung habi. They call it habi, di ba?
Yes.
Local weave interspersed with denim. Where was I walking ba? Sa Ginza. Somebody stopped me and said, "Where can I buy your pants?" I said, "You can fly to the Philippines. This is proudly Filipino." And she said, "That one is Filipino." I go, "Yeah, this is Filipino." So, proudly proclaim it, proudly wear it, proudly use it, because you're proudly Filipino, di ba?
Exactly, yes.
And all of that. So, advice for our young minds here. How can they show nationalism? Many of them are thinking, hindi naman ako magiging Miss Universe. Hindi naman ako magiging magaling na artist or whatever. As a high school student, how can I show nationalism and love and pride for country?
Well, for one is do the best you can in your community. Be involved. Especially the high school students, you can be involved in your community. Keep it clean. Keep your community beautiful. Plant trees. Don't knock down the trees. But plant it. And buy always local products that you can help ang kapwa Filipinos also become more progressive.
And you were saying kanina, volunteer for socio-civic activities, di ba?
Yes, and also join festivals. Go and watch. Every day there's a festival in a town in the Philippines.
That's true.
So
in the
you
Festival
join,
Nation.
be involved in festivals, watch shows.
Watch Filipino show.
Watch
Filipino ha, Filipino. Hindi lang Korean. If you can watch Korean, for heaven's sake,
And if
you
you
can watch Filipino.
if you can spend 16,000 for a ticket, why can you not spend 500 pesos for a ticket for a local show?
Exactly.
So it's that those are values.
Yeah, that's true. It starts with little things before they become big. Hindi naman si Margie naging Miss Universe kaagad. She started as a high school student the way you did. She loved the Philippines. She made the best she could out of herself so she could promote the Philippines. And that's what she did. She put us in the map in 1974. Imagine that people thought the Philippines, when she joined Miss Universe, akala nila we were in Polynesia or near Hawaii, very, very far. But now, I think a lot of people know the Philippines, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we've become
And even our food, like I was eating in the, it was a discipline, in the in one of the glaciers in New Zealand. Glacier, so that's medyo malayo because you're on a glacier, right? When I opened the menu, the first thing there and the recommendation was Filipino adobo. I wanted to cry. I said, oh my God, Filipino adobo is in the glaciers of New Zealand. I mean,
Really?
you
Wow.
wouldn't expect it there. So of course I made everybody order adobo, diba? Because I was so proud. You know, things like these. Now,
Yes.
why is it important, Margie, to be nationalistic? In times like this when everybody's saying global, 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 why is nationalism
You
important?
have to strike a balance between what's global and what is national, because you can't be also exclusively nationalistic. You have to be inclusive. You have to learn from what is in the global scene, because we need our national identification as well. And we have to really advocate the devotion to our country for it to progress.
Yeah.
Because if it's all watak and you don't love your country, we cannot depend on our politicians to fix things for us. We have to be involved. They have to know we have to be vigilant about corruption. We have to be vigilant about being green and clean. This climate change. We have to be involved in our community.
So we have to be the best we can possibly be.
Yes.
As a person, as a family member, and then as a member of the community, and later the bigger community, the country.
And love your country.
And love your country. So please ha, ako request ko lang pag nagple-play yun, talagang masakit yung loob ko talaga in that theater. When people didn't stand up for the national anthem,
Yeah.
it really broke my heart. I was so angry. I went in front of the theater. Have that anger, have that love for country. For heaven's sake, dito ka pinanganak eh. Ito yung bayan mo. Everything you love, everything that's important to you, they're here in your country. So bakit hindi mo mamahalin? 'Di ba? Ito ang isang Miss Universe na ang kanyang universe ay bagaman Miss Universe siya, ang kanyang palaging ina-advocate at ang kanyang adikain ay ang pagpapalaganap ng kung anumang anything Filipino. Because we're Filipinos, di ba? So my challenge to you is, think about this. Today, as a Filipino, what can you do? What can you do to make yourself a better Filipino? And as a better Filipino, what can you do to help your family? As a better Filipino, what can you do for your community? And later, as a better Filipino, what can that do for the country? It starts small. Lahat naman ng malaki, start small. Start with yourself first, right? And if you're the best Filipino you can be, later, kung lahat tayo ganyan, bayan na ang maimpluwensya. So, any last words from Margie? From Miss Universe.
We protect, I mean the arts industry, so to help the artists become the best they can be is go out and watch shows, or go follow the festivals and join the festivals. Be hospitable.
Be hospitable, yes.
And love your food, because our food is good.
It's very, very good. Love it and be proud of it. The adobo made it to the glaciers
Yes.
of New Zealand. Okay. Diba?
Yeah.
So, I'd just like to thank Margie. Margie's a very busy woman, but she made time for this because she knows it's important to be able to speak to high school students like you. It's important that high school students like you realize that sa atin lang, as a person, we can show nationalism. And nationalism starts with being the best person. I love what you said. It starts with being the best that you can be. Be the best that you can be, because the best that you can be is also the best that we can do for our country. So, challenge question. Remember, every day, start thinking, what can I do today to make myself a better person? And eventually, if everyone does that, we'll all be the best citizens we can be, and what a beautiful country the Philippines will be. it starts with you. Thank you so much for joining Tibok Pinoy, our series on being Makabayan.
Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian na maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Yeah, malinaw ang pananaw sa makabagong bukas, makatwiran at patas pakisama, at higit sa lahat maka-Diyos siya dapat. Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian ng maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas. Iboto ang maka-Pilipinas.